Welcome to my Minimalist Wallet Sew-Along. In this video, we will be going over how to sew the Minimalist Wallet, usually provided during your sip and stitch experience, but since you weren't there, here you go. So included in your package, you have 6 Q-tips, all of your pieces. There should be a total of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have your needles and thread. There are 2 pieces of thread on here. And then you have edge coat. Usually it's matching. For this video, it's not going to be. So everything is cut out with the holes and everything for you. So you will also have in your package a PDF printed version of all your pieces and the instructions as well. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is take your edge coat, gently open it, one of your Q-tips, and I try to make sure and twist this a bit to get it nice and tight. And you're going to take all of your curved pieces, any piece that has a curve to it, and you're going to dip this very, very gently. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot at all. And you're going to go right along the top edge of your leather. Try not to get it on the front part of your leather. You just want it on the edges. Just the edges. Once you have all of your pieces edge coated, it's hard to see on these, but it's there. What you want to do now is we're going to start the process of sewing. So you have 2 tapestry needles or leather needles. They're very blunt. They don't really have a point. I mean, it can stick you, but they don't have a point. And you're going to want to use one of your threads off of your spool. The other one is on there. And you're going to go through, want to make sure that this is nice and flat. Nice and flat. Like that. You're then going to go in straight through the eye. Now what I do is I then take my needle, I spread the wax thread, and I go right into the middle of it and pull it down. Once I pull that down, I then pull it, that creates a knot at the top, like that. You're going to take the other needle and you're going to put it at the other end. Same thread, 2 needles. Make sure it's nice and flat. Going to go straight in through the eye of the needle. Leave it flat. And you're going to go straight through the middle of the wax thread, like that. Hold the tip of the needle, pull the thread down, and then pull the longer part of the thread. It'll create a knot, and there you go. Right? Now you want to make sure that these 2 are even. There you go. So we're going to take the body of the pattern, which is right here. This is the suede side up. So suede side up, sit it down. Then we're going to take the pattern piece that has the dip in it. You're going to lay it straight down, all curves matching. Then you're going to take one of these pieces. There are two of these. You're going to take one of these pieces and you're going to sit it on top of that piece, and this is how it should look. All right, so this is what you're aiming for. Now, so that we are aligning it correctly, what you have is your stitching holes should all line up. So on your nippled piece, right, the piece with the dip in it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to start sewing and you're stopping at stitch 6, at stitch hole 6, okay? So we're going to set this aside and we're going to get the process of saddle stitching going. This is called saddle stitching. So you're going to take the needle, you're going to go in to your first hole, go through both, and you're going to pull it all the way through. And you want to make sure that your thread is perfectly even. Be careful not to get your thread all knotted up as you're pulling through, because it's a royal pain in the neck to get it out. All right, so believe it or not, my needles are together, my thread is even. You're then going to take one of them and go in to the second hole and have both both needles on the same side. Now right here, you don't want to pull too much because you're still very loose. You want your needles to be, and your thread to be totally even. So I'm off just a little bit right here. So you want to get that nice and even. Get it back even. Pull until you're even. It's now even. So I now have my first stitch, sort of. With saddle stitching, you should have needles on each side. Currently, both of my needles are on the same side. See? We are going to take the needle from the very first hole, and we're going to go into the second hole where we just came out from. Go right back in there. You're then going to take the thread on your left, thread on your right, and pull it taut. You now have your official first stitch. And we'll continue doing that saddle stitch until we get to the stitching hole number 6, where we then attach this. So starting from the back, I'm going out with one. I'm going to take the next needle, in that same hole I came out of, I'm going in with my other needle. So again, I have a needle on each side. Grab your left, your right, pull. There's your stitch. So now we are at 1, 2, 3. We're going into hole number 4. Now we're going to go in to the next hole, which takes us through the first hole of the next pattern piece. You have now started the process of attaching that next pattern piece. And here you really want to get this nice and tight. And then you continue the process of going all the way around. There are no more pattern pieces to add to this side. So we're at the last hole, right there. We are going to, from the inside, go in to the last hole and come out, right? So we're completing the saddle stitch as we normally would have. Now, all along, we've wanted both needles on opposite sides. We are now going to back stitch with our outside needle. This is the outside of the wallet. You're going to take this needle and go into one hole behind it and pull through. And we want that nice and taut. So now we have both needles on one side. Make sure all your stitches are nice and taut. Take your needles off. And you're going to tie a knot into your stitch. And you want it very, very tight. Very tight. Now, some folks stop right here. I prefer to do a second knot because sometimes as you are burning the wax, it can come loose and I don't like that. So I do 2 knots. And I get it really tight. I then cut really close. Like that. Now the fun part, for some, not all, is the melting of the wax. First, we're going to solidify this stitch so that it doesn't come loose. And to do that, I'm going to take some fire and you're going to go right onto it. I'm barely over it. Once it's melted, you just hit it really flat. It comes really flat. Take some really sharp scissors and clip any outside points, but not your knot. Then you're going to take the fire and you're going to quickly go around the stitch, which will quickly change the color of the thread, which is melting the wax into your stitch. This is a really quick process. You're not hanging tight. So already you see that first line of stitching is darker. So for the next process, we are taking our large piece, we're putting it as we did before. You are then going to take this pattern piece and you are going to align the first hole, the first stitching hole of this pattern piece with the fourth stitching hole of this pattern piece. So therefore, 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes like that. Then your last pattern piece, you're just going to align all curves. That matches up the first hole of your last pattern piece with the fourth hole of your second layered pattern piece. And it should look like this. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get our next thread ready for stitching, and then we'll start the process. So we're going to get the process started of doing this pattern piece, which is your next big pattern piece. So I have my needle threaded, everything is even. We're going to start the same process that we did before. You go in through your first hole all the way through both pattern pieces, your main body and your pattern. And I'm pulling both of them together so I have that in. Now that that's in, we take the very first needle and we're going to go in to that second hole. This creates our saddle stitch and it brings our other needle to the other side. So now we have the process where both needles on opposite sides. Now we continue our process. One on this side, same hole, one on this side. My thread got caught up. Now I look like I have a bird's nest. There we go. And we're back to it. So here we have 1, 2, 3. And we now have to attach our first hole of this pattern piece with the fourth hole of this next pattern. So we align the holes. You go in through that, and then your next pattern piece as such. Pull your thread. Same process, same hole, needle on the next side. Now you want to tighten that very good. So now we're at the final hole. We now put this pattern piece on top of that, and we go through all pattern pieces right in there. Straight in through to the other side. Well, we've made it to the end of the stitching. Not quite the end of the wallet, but the end of the stitching. So we're going in to these last holes. One more to go. We do exactly like we did before. We're going to go into this last hole, complete the stitch, then we're going to back stitch into the second to the last hole. Take our needles off. Tie it. It's always best to keep the thread in the direction of your stitch, which makes it easier to burn without obvious issues. Nice and tight. Clip it really close. And we do exactly what we did before. We're going to get really close, but we're only on the thread. Right on there. Now, once again, melt that wax. Now, if you fold this like this, your wallet is complete. But before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to get these edges done with the rest of our edge coat so we have a nice, clean finish around. So, you're going to get your edge coat, your Q-tips, and let's go. Okay, once our stitching is all completed, we're going to take the rest of our edge coat and we are going to, this time you can dip a little bit heavier. And I start at one of the thicker ends and I literally just roll it on. It's going to be okay to go around twice on this one. once you've done all of your edge coating, your wallet is now done. You can fold it and utilize it. Start putting all of your important cards in it. Or you can gift it. Give it to someone that you love. Let them know that you made it. Happy stitching!